Hello foodie friends! We're at the last of our road trip series and we've decided we're going to end with a bang and go all the way to Hawaii. Now unfortunately, I know I really tried to get my grandmother to be able to be in this episode just to maybe kind of talk about her trip to Hawaii. They took a cruise out there, she loved it. But she kind of wasn't feeling a little too good today, and being 90, you know, that happens sometimes. So we decided to go ahead and wait for another episode where she might be feeling a little better. But we're gonna go ahead, do our Hawaiian dish, and I'm using Hawaiian dish lightly because this cookbook says Hawaii on it, but isn't actually Hawaiian food. We're gonna check that out, cook this meal, and then we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Pause here to write down what you'll need to follow along. First, let's go ahead and get our vegetables ready. So we'll go ahead and cut our celery, carrot, and onion and place them in a pot. You're then gonna take your chicken. I cut mine up into smaller pieces just to make it easier to cook through, and then add your salt, pepper, and thyme. Then we'll cook it on the stove until it's completely cooked through, and if you'd like, you can leave it in the refrigerator overnight and use it the next day. The food of Hawaii actually turned out to be pretty interesting. When the Polynesians first arrived on the islands about 1,500 years ago, they saw that there really wasn't much food to be had on the islands themselves. Archaeologists have found that they brought with them about 27 to 30 different plants called canoe food that they brought with them when they landed. For example, they brought with them lots of sweet potatoes, breadfruit, and the main staple of their diet, taro, which was made into poi. It wasn't until 1778 when Captain James Cook first sighted the Hawaiian Islands and landed that European foods were introduced. Next, measure out your rice, rinse, and go ahead and cook. We'll also go ahead and get our peas ready. Now let's get our next set of vegetables and ingredients ready. We'll go ahead and chop up our green pepper. I have my cashews ready. We also have canned pineapple. And as you'll see, I used it to measure out 1 cup of pineapple juice. I almost made it, so added a little water just to get up to the 1 cup. Hawaiian food took a big change in the 1800s. When the sugar plantations needed workers, they drew immigrants from China, Korea, Japan, the Philippines, and even Portugal. The Chinese brought stir fries and dim sum. The Koreans brought kimchi and barbecue. The Portuguese brought their love of pork, tomatoes, and chili peppers, and the Japanese brought their tofu and soy sauce. Now let's go ahead and get our Napa cabbage ready for our stir fry. I'm going to go ahead and cut it into strips, but then I decided to make it into even smaller strips just to make it easier to cook through. You won't use all of this, of course, but go ahead and save some for a nice vegetable soup for the next day. Now you can see here I've got my peas in a pot, they're all ready to go, and my chicken is also done. But now let's go ahead and make the sauce that we'll put on the chicken. Add in a pot your pineapple juice, soy sauce, vinegar, brown sugar, and stir it up. When this is simmering, you'll go ahead and add your cornstarch to thicken. And then add your green peppers, your pineapples, and your cashews. Simmer that about 5 minutes. Hawaiian food continued to change when Puerto Rican immigration in the 1900s brought over spicy soups, casseroles, and meat turnovers. Filipinos brought over peas and beans. And after the Vietnam War, immigrants from that area brought lemongrass, fish sauce, and all kinds of Thai and Vietnamese foods. In an odd twist of history, because of rationing during World War II, Spam became one of the most popular dishes in Hawaii. Hawaiians are actually the second largest consumers of canned Spam in the world. Since World War II, Spam has been used in a variety of very creative ways. You can eat it in just a sandwich, or you can try one of the many fusion dishes that include Spam as the main protein. It's not uncommon to see Chinese, Japanese, and Hawaiian dishes with a side of Spam. Now that you have your sauce ready, let's go ahead and prepare our chicken. I decided to cut mine into a little bit more of a bite-sized pieces and then place it in a casserole dish. All you have to do is pour the sauce over the chicken, and because I was still making the rice, I decided to go ahead and cover mine with tin foil and place it in a warm oven until I got my rice ready. As for the rice, you're going to go ahead and put your cooked peas in a large skillet, add your butter to melt, and then add your cabbage to cook that down. When the cabbage is half done, go ahead and add your soy sauce, your garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Add your rice last, and then go ahead and simmer that for about 15 minutes. The recipe also says to sprinkle a little bit of monosodium glutamate, but that ingredient is kind of difficult to find nowadays. I went ahead and omitted it from the recipe, even though the FDA does categorize that ingredient as likely safe for consumption. However, some people have said that they do react to it. It does have a rather complicated history, and most people choose not to use it. Therefore, I left it out of this recipe, and after the taste test, I didn't actually miss it or think it would even need it.
All right, so kind of glad Grandma couldn't make it for this one because I really don't have high hopes.
She might not have made it all the way through.
I mean,
there's a lot of work.
We'll talk about some of the other stuff after the taste test, but let me just point out, look how 70s this dish is. You have your avocado greens, your harvest gold. I mean, you literally can't get a more 70s dish.
I mean, as far as a color scheme goes, it is like 70s color all
Yeah,
day.
I mean, this is every 70s kitchen.
Yeah.
Right here. So, okay, let's go ahead. I figure we could try it separate and then maybe together if we want to. Depends on how it tastes, if we want to.
I mean, it's not bad.
Well, let's reserve judgment until, we got one more. I really don't have high hopes for this.
Uh-oh.
But it could be me. I don't fry rice. I've only tried it like one time before, and I didn't really do too good of a job on that one either. I think it's just a technique to it that you just need to practice with. Okay. This is weird. I'm gonna say I like the rice better than I like the chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be the other way around.
And the chicken's not bad. Like, it's different, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I mean, it's kind of what you would expect with pineapple and chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not anything special. There's no, like, super interesting flavor that I wasn't expecting.
No, it doesn't blow me away at all. Now, the rice is actually, I would probably make that again.
Yeah, the rice is actually, like, a surprisingly good flavor.
Yeah. Now, would I make this again? Okay. Let's just talk just a little bit about some of the problems that I found with this cookbook. So, you know, it's kind of like you said earlier.
Yeah.
You're just throwing pineapple on stuff and calling it Hawaiian.
Yeah, it's like Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah,
Put some pineapple on it, and it's Hawaiian all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaiian pizza, we all know that that's kind of a joke. It's not Hawaiian, but I feel like this, and the only reason why I picked this recipe is because this was the closest I could get to Hawaii in this entire cookbook.
And the thing is, a lot of the recipes in there are actually named after the country that they're from, and none of them are Hawaiian.
No!
None of them are, like, even, most of them aren't even American, or...
No!
You know,
and this is my irritation with it. Now, he caveats in the very introduction of this cookbook that he collected a bunch of recipes and put them together to showcase all the different nationalities that make up Hawaii. Okay, that's not a problem. I mean, every state in America could say the same thing.
Right.
You know, that there's, like, every nationality on the planet is somehow represented somewhere in the United States.
Yeah.
You know? And that's awesome. I love having their access to their food, their recipes, their cultures, their ideas. It's what makes us great in a lot of ways. However, We've had cookbooks that has done that, including the Arizona one, which top notch.
Yeah.
Love that cookbook.
Yeah. It made some interesting mixes of cultures.
It did, and it also took their recipes and categorized them for you, so you could flip from one cultural group to another.
Right.
And then had some that were kind of melded together. This thing, okay, so we've never been to Hawaii, to our detriment, and I kind of looked up some Hawaiian dishes just to see, am I crazy, or is this Hawaiian cookbook not Hawaiian?
Yeah.
And so, and bear in mind, this was picked up on the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah.
Okay, so supposedly this should be Hawaii.
It does say it's a Hawaiian cookbook.
Yeah, and so I looked up some, and none of the traditional people's dishes was in this cookbook.
Like nothing.
None of them. So I take personal issue with a cookbook that says I'm showcasing all the cultural, differences in my, state, and but then you literally leave out the original peoples that had that island, that had settled on that island. That, it's nothing but European, Asian, because there are
Asian,
sizable Chinese and Japanese immigration group, on those islands.
And I would say some of the actual traditional Hawaiian dishes might actually be branches off of traditional Asian dishes.
It could be. I mean, we could look into that and see if,
because it is like an island in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Whoever populated it first came probably from Asia at some point.
Hawaii is a hugely popular destination, or vacation destination spot for Japanese.
Right.
And stuff like that. And some of them have opted to stay on the island and just become, American citizens so they can live on Hawaii.
Yeah.
And a lot of their foods has culturally exchanged, and that's awesome. Like this dish right here, the rice dish, is actually more of a Japanese, Chinese, kind of dish. However,
there's still nothing.
There's nothing.
I mean, zero.
To represent the actual native people of Hawaii. And
even this is just kind of a caricature of it.
It is. You know what I mean?
It's just throw some pineapple on a dish we already have.
Put some cashews on there.
We'll call it.
And a bell pepper. And I don't even think a bell pepper is native to Hawaii.
I don't even know if pineapple is. We probably
actually, that's true. I think
it probably
is.
I think it probably.
We need to look that up. Is that a South American fruit, or is that also a Hawaiian fruit? I don't know.
At what point did pineapple start growing on Hawaii?
That's true. We need to look that up, because this whole dish might be fake. I don't even know. I mean, was there, So it's disappointing. Just some of the dishes in here. Sauerbraten.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut. No. New England scallop dinner. No. Welsh rarebit. Why are we going to Wales for a Hawaiian cookbook?
That's literally probably on the other side of the world.
And this entire cookbook is basically, it's extremely European. Extremely European. Even things that, like we mentioned before, like this, that maybe Hawaiian is just like, put some pineapple and see what happens.
Like I said, it's more of a caricature of what people think of when they say Hawaiian.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few fish options in this cookbook.
Which would be mostly what Hawaiians
exactly,
ate.
Yeah, it was a lot of seafood, which, lucky for them, it's like, right in their backyard, basically. But even the fish dinners, New England scallops? Why are you going to Maine and Vermont to cook your scallops when you could have had, it's just, this was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah,
I had such a hard time.
Not to mention the fact that, cooking this took a long time.
Oh, was this the
and
most irritating?
Used a lot of like every dish we have.
Yeah, and you can still see in the background here.
Some of them.
We tried to clear out some of the dishes before we started filming, but then we were like, our food's getting cold. We better, So we're just gonna finish this,
Sometime.
after this filming. Yeah, but yeah, it used several of my pots.
So it wasn't an easy dish to make, and it really wasn't Hawaiian at all.
Don't make this coming home from a hard day's work.
No.
You're not. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
this
if
is
you want to do
so
something
annoying.
kind of special and kind of kitschy, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to be 1970. Hey, you know what? And some people do this. There are people on Instagram who make their homes into completely 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, and they decorate it, dress, they do everything just like the, so their house is basically a time capsule. If you have a 1970s kitchen and you want a dish to match your decor, this is it. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
You just spread that on the table and it matches your avocado green oven and stuff like that. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandmother had the avocado greens and harvest gold kitchen in the 70s, so I don't know. But I think I could safely say she never cooked out of this cookbook because the pages are pristine. So
she got it, and then she's like, never mind.
She paid $5.25 for this on the island, back in, I can't remember. I know they went in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And this was 1973, so it was then or after, But she never cooked out of this. Because the pages are just too beautiful. She couldn't do it.
She never even combed through it, probably.
Yeah, I know. So, you know what? The rice, I'll give a 4.
Yeah, I'll give that a 4.
Surprisingly good. I'm knocking off a star for the amount of work the rice took.
Okay.
It was kind of ridiculous.
The chicken, I'd say probably a 3.
I'm going to say 2.5, but I'm mad at it because I was doing all the work on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And
if
was
I'm just eating it, I'd give it a 3. As far as the flavor goes with other stuff, I mean
it's okay.
It's not bad.
It needs a little more salt.
I mean, yeah, but it's not anything that would like blow me away either. It's not I'm not gonna go tomorrow and start craving that chicken I tried yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Like, we're not gonna be like, gosh, can't wait for that dinner.
Yeah, I know.
Nah,
it's like it'll feed me.
Yeah, and the cookbook.
The cookbook's just irritating. It's frustrating.
We've never given a cookbook a 0 before, have we?
No.
I don't think we've ever. Even Ma's Cooking got a higher rating than I'm going to give this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Ma's Cooking was weird, but I think I'm going to give this a 0.
I mean, I'd give it a 1.
Ooh.
And the only reason I say 1 is because, I mean, some of the food in it probably isn't that bad, but it's just, it's irritating because it's not what it says it is. You know what I mean? Like it's if I want a good fried rice dish, I'm not gonna go to my Hawaiian cookbook.
Macaroni and cheese, guys. I mean, come on.
Did they have macaroni? I mean, what was the staple
that's
grain?
So European. It's just so Norwegian omelet, guys. A Norwegian omelet. Okay, we're done. So I'm gonna stick by my 0 because.
And we probably won't cook out of it.
Oh no, I'm never gonna. Yeah. I might even donate it.
It's too much work.
Yeah, I'm going to probably donate this to the library and just let someone else, like, if they want to have, if they have a 1970s kitchen and you just want this sitting there for decor, that's great.
If you want some recipes that match your decor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, specifically, yeah.
If you find this on eBay, skip over it.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what would be really cool? We need to look into, and maybe we'll do this, like, not coming up, but maybe in the summer when like fruits and stuff are a little bit more, fresh and in season. Let's look at some actual native Hawaiian chefs.
Yeah.
Their cookbooks and see kind of like the sous chef.
Yeah.
And see what is their take on their food and what are the flavors that they cook at home instead of just this
caricature.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick by my 0 because I think that's terrible to cut out an entire population.
Well, to include stuff from around the world and not
New England
and not from the actual native place.
Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick with my 0.
Well,
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, don't cut out an entire group's. Don't call a cookbook something and then cut those people completely out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like the immigrants that come over and get naturalized, or people that are born like first generation Americans over there. Yeah, they're American. That's, they're Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Because if you're born on the island, you are Hawaiian. However, include their food, but also include the natives.
At least have some native dishes on that.
But anyway, I feel like it's very exclusionary.
Yeah.
That's what I
agree.
can. And it was like,
it's kind of a weird way.
Well, I don't even, like, was it done on purpose in 1973? I don't know. I mean, different time, different era. Who knows what went into the making of this and what their thinking was, but their thinking didn't make a very good cookbook.
No.
So I'm sure if you really want a really good Hawaiian cookbook,
there's something else.
There's probably bukus of wonderful Hawaiian chefs out there that make awesome cookbooks and dishes with their native food, and you can get a really good idea of what that would be like from their cookbooks. You're not going to get it from this.
Right.
So, wow,
that's probably the worst cookbook we've had yet.
I think it is. I mean, to beat Ma's Cooking for being the worst, I mean, that's, at least Ma's Cooking tried with some biscuits and gravy thrown in there. I mean, that's Southern, but this is like, no, we're not
even going to throw in
We're not going to have Hawaiian food in there. Just enjoy this Norwegian omelet.
Yeah.
I mean, weird. So, I mean, and the food...
It's not bad. Like, it's not something I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna throw the rest of the food out.
Ooh,
but at the same time,
I will say this: it wasn't worth the amount of time and dishes that I'm gonna have to do, or we're gonna have to do, in order to make it.
Right.
Wasn't worth it. So I'm sure if there's some Hawaiian people that are watching this, was probably thinking, "Gosh, our dishes are so easy. I've never had that much trouble with it." But I mean, this was trouble.
This was work.
Yeah. But, okay, so that wraps up a little bit of a disappointment. But, I mean, maybe I saved you from buying this in a nostalgic moment on eBay. I don't know. I saved you some money. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and go ahead and do all those dishes that we got left over. But stay tuned, because next month, we're going to go a little bit dark, as we know what's coming up. Our favorite holiday, the one that we love to cook for the most. So we're really excited about that. Hopefully, I'll have another little tea series in there for you before we really get ramped up into our
spook
haunted horror show that we put on. And if you guys want a little refresh on what happened in this House of Horrors last year at Halloween, go ahead and check out our series on that. We had a Harry Potter, actually we had a couple of really cool Harry Potter recipes in that one. And some other things that you might want to make for your Halloween party. And we're going to have some pretty cool recipes for this one. I got some really, really spooky and delightfly devilish cookbooks that I've got lined up. So I can't wait for that. We're going to really celebrate Halloween, right. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and go, maybe finish this, I don't know, and then we'll do the dishes. So thanks for watching this one. Hope you stay tuned for next month, because it's going to be a lot of spooky fun. Yeah. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.
If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for future videos. In the meantime, here are 2 videos you may enjoy. Thanks for watching.